Hey, what's up? It's Sam Avalone here from Studio Spicy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play my new game, Myth Mash. That's right, this is the first game that I have ever published, and as of recording this right now, we are about 4 hours away from the launch of it, so needless to say, I'm pretty excited, and I can't wait to show you what it's all about. So why don't we hit the table and jump right in. Okay, so here it is, Myth Mash in all its glory. Get a load of this beautiful box art. Very nice. So you guys are going to get sort of a chaotic how to play video today. Since I am recording this so close to the release, don't have a ton of time to go in and make it perfect. I will go back in and do a new one of these here once I have a little more time on my hands. But for now, you're just going to have to live with what you're getting today. Hopefully it'll be fun. I don't know. We'll see. So we got inside of the box, we've got the rules booklet, which we'll look at here. Fun fact, I designed this rules booklet to sort of read like an old school video game manual. So you can see sort of that in the design of it. And we've got like these little character bio cutaways that happen throughout the rules booklet. So that's a fun little piece of trivia for you. Then we've got our punch out board here as well. These, of course, punch out. I will not be punching all of them out, but there's one of them just so you can get a little taste of what that feels like. A little punch out ASMR, perhaps. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so I said I did one. I did three. Now we got the cards. These are, of course, kind of the star of the show. Nice card backs. I think we care probably more about the card fronts, so we'll have a look at those now. Once again, I'll hold these up so you can admire the artwork, which is, of course, very nice, very beautiful, lovely. Artist knocked it out of the park. So let's talk a little bit about how to play. I guess the first place to start is to set up. So we'll take out these two cards from the bottom of the deck, the Peaceful card, peaceful on both sides, and then this reference card that has the faction abilities rules. We'll just go ahead and set that off to the side here. We're not going to need that for what we're doing. The Peaceful card will come in handy. And then we will also separate out the starter cards from the deck. So that's going to be these guys here. You can identify them by the little starter tag up in the corner of the card. Both players are going to start with the exact same cards. It's a summoner, 3 knights, and 3 soldiers. We'll just kind of set those off to the various sides of play here. We'll get this box out of here as well. We don't need to see that. And you know what? We're just going to do all kinds of cleaning up here. Let's take the rules out. Let's get the punch-out board out. Get these tokens out of here. Okay, much better. Much better. So here we go. Myth Mash. Myth Mash is a 2-player card game. Takes inspiration from trick-taking, deck-building, and even trading card game genres. Some of my favorite types of games to play. So if they're also your favorite types of games, I'm sure you will love what's in store here. Takes about 15 minutes to play. Sometimes it can take, significantly less than that, depending on how the deck shakes out. But yeah, 15 minutes is, I would say, a pretty average game time. So yeah, beyond that, the goal of the game is to collect treasure. So we've got these various treasure cards in the deck here that I'll show you now. They have different values on them. There's some 3s, some 4s, and even a few 5s. So your job is to collect 15 points worth of treasure, and as soon as you do, the game is over and you are the winner. That's just that simple. You're going to win the treasure by deploying squads of heroes from your hand to go do battle over various objectives that are shuffled into this treasure deck. Now, there's 3 types of cards that will be inside of this treasure deck. I've got them separated right now, but when we're playing, they'll be all sort of shuffled together. There's, of course, the treasure that we just looked at. So this is just points. It's the most straightforward of the 3 types of cards. When you get one of these, you're just going to kind of set it off to the side of your play area. It's yours for the rest of the game. Nobody can touch it, and it's just points. It doesn't get shuffled into your deck or anything like that. Again, I will reiterate, just points. Okay, then the next type of card is hero cards. So when you win a hero card, you're essentially recruiting this hero to come join your forces. They'll lend you your power, and They'll help you win subsequent battles. So when you win one of these hero cards, when you win a battle over a hero card, you will take that hero and put it in your discard pile, which will then, of course, eventually become shuffled up into your deck and then go into your hand, and then you'll be able to play them and do all kinds of fun stuff with their stuff. So there's a few things to note on each hero card here. Each hero has, first of all, a name, of course. And then there's a power number. That's right here. Alice is 1 power. Waylon is 4 power, so on and so forth. And then there's also the abilities. So power is ultimately what's going to win you battles. Whoever has the most power in play will win a battle. But oftentimes the abilities are what decides the battle. There's lots of different ways. As you can see here, Alice will give every other card you have in play plus 1 power. So oftentimes the abilities will modify your own power, perhaps modify your opponent's power, apply status conditions to your opponent. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff that the ability effects can do. And really using those to the largest advantage is how you will win Myth Mash. So you unlock the hero's true potential and win a game of Myth Mash. Very fun. So that's the hero cards. And then the third type of card is these mashup cards. These are sort of the, my friend calls this the Mario Kart mechanic of the game. We'll get back to what exactly the mashup cards do when they come out, because in order to understand that, you kind of have to understand how the game is played. So I'll set these kind of off to the side. Well, you know what? We'll shuffle it all together. We'll shuffle all this stuff together for now, including this Alice down here. And we will sort of play through a mock round to show you what's going on here. So Myth Mash is played over a series of rounds. Each round is going to consist of 3 battles. At the start of each round, we're going to take 3 cards from the top of this treasure deck. Once it's sufficiently shuffled, we'll give it one more nice little go through there. It's going to sit right here in between the players. So at the start of each round, you're going to take 3 cards off the top of the deck, put them in this area between the players referred to as the pot. And these are the 3 cards that we're going to be battling over in this game of Myth Mash. So both players have their starting hands, of course, with the same cards. You will be dealt a hand of 7 cards at the start of each round. Of course, you only have these 7 cards to start with. As you win more hero cards from the treasure deck, from these cards, they'll go to your discard pile. Eventually, you'll have a deck sitting off to the side that you'll be drawing from at the start of each round. But for the first round, at least, it's just the 7 cards that you have. And you only have these 7 cards to battle over these 3 cards. We'll get more into what that looks like here in a minute. But the last thing we have to decide before we're ready to play here is who begins the game as peaceful. Now, what is peaceful, you may ask? So it's a very good question. Peaceful is sort of a status that's going to get passed back and forth between us over the course of the game. Every time you lose a battle, the losing player will become peaceful for the next battle. So obviously, to start the game, you just have to pick somebody who's peaceful. There's no cute way to decide it. I know a lot of games like to be like, whoever ate a burrito last gets to be peaceful at the start. You can say that if you want. You know what? That's it. That's how you decide. Whoever last ate a burrito, that's the official rule now, is peaceful to start. Okay, so let's say I had a burrito for lunch yesterday, and so I'm going to be peaceful to start here, which means that my opponent will have to play first. I should probably explain. There's a few benefits that come along with being peaceful. Being peaceful is a good thing. You get a few benefits, including, first of all, bidding second on all battles. Huge advantage. Massive. You'll also win ties. Whenever you and your opponent are tied for power in a battle, the peaceful player will win the tie. And then lastly, peaceful players will also get to control these mashup cards when they come out. So we're going to play one hand, and then if a mashup cards come out, I'll explain it then. If it doesn't, I'll go back in and explain what's going on there afterwards. So the first thing we do here is, of course, flip over the top card of the pot to reveal what we're going to be battling over. So it's a hero, and that means that whoever wins this battle is going to get to take Ezra and add them to their discard pile. And eventually they'll get shuffled back into the deck, and you'll get to play them from your hand. So this is Ezra. He's a 3 power. He has an ability. You can read it for yourself there. I guess I might as well read it for you. So you may discard up to 2 cards from your hand. If you do, Draw the number of cards you discarded. Powerful card. I like Ezra quite a bit. My opponent's going to bid first, though. So just, we're playing open-handed here, of course. Let's say my opponent bids 2 soldiers. So I should explain probably what bidding is first. So bidding, each player is going to take turns playing cards from their hand face down. This is considered their bid. So once my opponent has bid, I see that they have 2 cards. I don't know what these 2 cards are. I have an idea of what they could be. And so now it's my turn as the peaceful player to respond. Now you can bid as many or as few cards as you want from your hand. But keep in mind that you only have these 7 cards to bid on these 3 cards for the rest of the battle. So you want to conserve a little bit, but you also don't want to, play too conservative, because you would ultimately like to win 2 of these 3 battles, or 3 even if you can. That's almost impossible to do, though, at least on the first hand. So let's say I really want Ezra, and so I'm thinking, the most this could be is 4, and so I'm going to play 5 points, 2 knights and a soldier. I play those face down, and now it is time to resolve. So we'll both flip over our bids. We'll see that I have quite a bit more power than my opponent does. Of course, if we had any text on the cards here, now would be the time to resolve it. And it's worth mentioning here that text is resolved. Whoever plays first also resolves their text first. So my opponent here would resolve their text first if they had any on their cards. You can resolve the text on your cards in any order that you want to, but you have to resolve all of it. There's some cards that say you may do this, you may do that. Like Ezra actually here, for example, says you may discard up to 2 cards from your hand. So when it says you may, optional, otherwise you have to do it. Sometimes you won't want to, but you always have to. So since there's no text to resolve, this is pretty straightforward. I have 5 power, my opponent has 2, so I will take Ezra. And now that the battle is over, all of the cards here will go through a little cleanup phase. All of the cards will go to our discard piles, so mine will go over here, my opponent's will go over there. Peaceful will pass to my opponent here since they lost the last battle. And now we begin the next one. So we simply flip over the next card. I'm going to be bidding first this time because I am no longer peaceful. And now we're bidding over gold. So this is treasure. That means that whoever wins this is going to put it in their vault off to the side of the board. Like I mentioned earlier, doesn't get mixed in with your deck. It's just strictly points. You need 15 in order to win the game. So this is obviously a nice thing to pick up early on. And I think I will play all but one of my cards here and make my opponent guess about which one I'm holding on to. So I'll play all 3 down. And now my opponent, knowing what I had played last round, has an even more informed guess at what I have down here. They're probably feeling pretty good about their odds of winning this. So they might play something like this. These 3 hold on to these 2. And this will be a good example to show how text is resolved here shortly. So both of our bids are locked in. We will flip over what we've got here. And now we will resolve. We both have text to resolve, so like I said, good example. I'm resolving first since I played my cards first, so I will resolve my summoner. Now the summoner acts as sort of a wild card. Both players have access to it in their starting hand. And I won't read the text. Basically what it does is you'll flip over the top card of the treasure deck. And if it is a hero, the summoner essentially becomes that hero just for this battle. So I'm really hoping this is a hero. If it's not, then it's, just a 0. He has 0 power. Very useless card if you don't flip a hero here, but sometimes it can come in clutch. So let's find out. Is it a hero? It is. And it's a good hero too. So I've got Alice on my team just for this battle. And so she's going to say each of your other cards you played receives +1 power. So let's bust out some of these +1 markers to keep track of that. Handy dandy punch board off to the side. There you go. And that leaves me with 1, 4, 6 power total. So my opponent here is now going to, now that all my cards are resolved, my opponent will resolve their cards. So they also have the summoner. Let's see what they get. Oh, no way. They also get an Alice? Okay, so there's 2 Alices in the deck. Obviously, I didn't shuffle this super well. Oops. First time. My bad. But they will also get +1 to both of their heroes here. And they will, of course, end up with more power than I do since They played one more power than I do. Close battle, though. Check that out, 6-7. So my opponent will take this treasure card, place it safe and sound in their vault. Everything gets discarded here. Both of the Alices, very important to note, whenever the summoner plays a card and turns into a card, at the end of the battle, those go back to the bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck, everybody. You do not get to keep the cards that your summoner pulls out for you. So now we have one card left in this round. And the third battle is almost always all in because you're going to be discarding your hand at the end of the round anyways. There's almost never a reason. Sometimes there is on very rare edge cases. You'll have, text on some of your cards that makes it so you don't want to play this card from your hand, actually. But in almost all circumstances, you'll go all in. You'll play the rest of your hand for the third battle. So I'm going to play mine down. I'm actually peaceful, so my opponent technically would play first. They'd play theirs down. I play mine down. I guess we should flip this first. Oh my gosh, more treasure. Check that out. So these both get flipped over. This gets flipped over. They clearly have more points than I do, so they would get this treasure. All right, so my opponent is off to a smoking start here. They got 7 points worth of treasure, almost halfway to winning the game. I, however, have the only hero that's come out, so I'm going to be in a much stronger position than they will going into the next round. So we'll set up for the next round real quick. We're not going to play another one, just for the sake of keeping this short and sweet. But at the end of each round, you discard any cards remaining in your hand. Then you will, first of all, draw cards from your deck to replenish back up to 7 cards. If you don't have 7 cards in your deck, or if you don't have enough cards in your deck to draw, as soon as you need to draw cards from your deck but don't have any, at that point, you will shuffle your discard pile. So I have no cards in my deck. I have no deck at all right now, which means I will take my discard pile and shuffle it to become a new deck. My opponent would be doing exactly the same at this time, but, we don't need to do it for both of us. So just give these a quick shuffle and deal myself out a fresh hand of 7. And I'm hoping that Ezra is in there somewhere. We'll have a look at it and see. Yep, there he is. So I would have Ezra going into the second round. We would deal out 3 new cards from the top of the treasure deck to the pot, and we would be off to the races once again. So the rounds are just going to repeat just like that over and over again until somebody gets to 7 points worth of treasure. Now, as I said at the onset, if we don't get a mashup card, I'll have to go in and explain those afterwards. I know it's a little late in the video to be explaining new mechanics, but it really is worth waiting to the end to do this. Mashups are, like I said, sort of the Mario Kart mechanic of this game. I hope Nintendo does not take this video down for me saying that. I think it's fair use. But basically, they're just going to introduce a little bit of chaos every time they come up. So whenever you flip a mashup card in the pot, instead of doing a battle over it, instead, the peaceful player is going to have a very important decision to make. I'm sure you've probably already read the card by now, but just to read it for you, the peaceful player is going to choose one. You're either going to swap hands, swap decks, or swap discard piles with your opponent. So literally, you're just going to pick them up, swap them. It's crazy. It's nonsense. It's madness. But it is quite fun, I will say. So obviously, with this card in the deck, there's actually 6 of them in the deck. No hero that you take at least is ever truly yours. Now, of course, your treasure is safe. Treasure goes in your vault. It is not in your deck. So there's no way that your opponent will be able to steal your treasure over the course of a game of Myth Match. However, every other card that you get, kind of up for grabs. So mashups do a great job of keeping the game interesting, making sure nobody runs away with it too much. However, I will say, there are certainly clever ways to play around mashups, even from ahead. You can do your best job to sort of think about how many are in the deck, how many you've seen so far. If you've got a huge lead in cards, there's not been too many mashups lately. Maybe you want to slough off a little bit. Maybe you want to let your opponent win a few battles, so that you're peaceful, and then maybe they'll come out and you'll get to decide what you're trading. There's also things you can do, like you want to make sure that you're keeping the same number of good cards in your hand as in your deck, as in your discard pile, so that, if your opponent does get the opportunity to snag one of them, they have to make sort of a tough choice about which one they're going for. So anyways, I won't go into too much detail about, strategy and stuff for Myth Match, but that's the game. obviously everything's explained in much greater detail here in the rules, so I would point you in that direction if you have any questions. And if you don't find what you're looking for in the rules, of course, you can always reach out to me on my website, sp1cy.com. So I think that'll about do it for me today. That has been Myth Mash. Hopefully you guys get the gist of what's going on here. Like I said, my first game, I love it. I've been working on it for 5 years. It's been a labor of love, and I'm super stoked to have it available now for you to pick up and play. So that'll do it for me today. Yeah, like, subscribe. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is a how to play video, so probably that's not appropriate at the end of this. But you know what? Go ahead and do it anyways. I need all the help I can get here. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you next time. Myth Mash. Go check it out.